Start of the Jun period. By a Mesolithic to Neolithic semi-sedentary hunter-gatherer culture characterized by pit-dwelling and rudimentary agriculture. 17. Clay vessels from the period are among the oldest surviving examples of pottery. 18. From around 700 BC, the Japonic-speaking Jiao people began to enter the archipelago from the Korean peninsula. 19. 20. 21. Intermingling with the Jun winking sad smiley. 21. The Yao period saw the introduction of practices including wet rice farming. 22. A new style of pottery. 23. And metallurgy from China and Korea. 24. According to legend, Emperor Jimmu, grandson of Amaterasu, founded a kingdom in central Japan in 660 BC, beginning a continuous imperial line. 25. Japan first appears in written history in the Chinese Book of Han, completed in 111 AD. Buddhism was introduced to Japan from Baekje, a Korean kingdom, in 552, but the development of Japanese Buddhism was primarily influenced by China. 26. Despite early resistance, Buddhism was promoted by the ruling class, including figures like Prince Shikoku, and gained widespread acceptance beginning in the Asuka period, 592–710. 27. The far-reaching Taika reforms in 645 nationalized all land in Japan, to be distributed equally among cultivators, and ordered the compilation of a household registry as the basis for a new system of taxation. 28. The Jinshin War of 672, a bloody conflict between Prince Amar and his nephew Prince Tomo, became a major catalyst for further administrative reforms. 29. These reforms culminated with the promulgation of the Tai Code, which consolidated existing statutes and established the structure of the central and subordinate local governments. 28. These legal reforms created the Right-Suri state, a system of Chinese-style centralized government that remained in place for half a millennium. 29. The Nara period, 710–784, marked the emergence of a Japanese state centered on the imperial court in Hige-ky, modern Nara. The period is characterized by the appearance of a nascent literary culture with the completion of the Kojiki, 712, and Nihon Shoki, 720, as well as the development of Buddhist-inspired artwork and architecture. 30. 31. A smallpox epidemic in 735–737 is believed to have killed as much as one-third of Japan's population. 31. 32. In 784, Emperor Kanmu moved the capital, settling on Heian-ky, modern-day Kyoto, in 794. 31. This marked the beginning of the Heian period, 794–1185, during which a distinctly indigenous Japanese culture emerged. Murasaki Shikabu's The Tale of Genji and the lyrics of Japan's national anthem Kimagyo were written during this time. 33. Feudal era. Japan's feudal era was characterized by the emergence and dominance of a ruling class of warriors, the samurai. 34. In 1185, following the defeat of the Taira clan in the Junpei War, Samurai Minamoto no Yoritomo established a military government at Kamakura. 35. After Yoritomo's death, the HJ clan came to power as regents for the shogun. 31. The Zen school of Buddhism was introduced from China in the Kamakura period, 1185–1333, and became popular among the samurai. Japanese samurai boarding a Mongol vessel during the Mongol invasions of Japan. Depicted in the Nkoshirai Ikataba, 1293. 3 Unifiers of Japan. Left to right Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi Tokugawa Ieyasu class. 36. The Kamakura shogunate repelled Mongol invasions in 1274 and 1281 but was eventually overthrown by Emperor Go-Daigo. 31. Go-Daigo was defeated by Ashikaga Taikoji in 1336, beginning the Muromachi period, 1336-1573. 37. The succeeding Ashikaga shogunate failed to control the feudal warlords, daimyo, and a civil war began in 1467, opening the century-long Sengoku period, Warring States. 38. During the 16th century, Portuguese traders and Jesuit missionaries reached Japan for the first time, initiating direct commercial and cultural exchange between Japan and the West. 31. 39. Oda Nobunaga used European technology and fiery arms to conquer many other daimyo. Winking sad smiley. 40. His consolidation of power began what was known as the Ajachi Momoyame period. 41. After the death of Nobunaga in 1582, his successor, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, unified the nation in the early 1590s and launched two unsuccessful invasions of Korea in 1592 and 1597. 31. Tokugawa Ieyasu served as regent for Hideyoshi's son Toyotomi Hideyoshi and used his position to gain political and military support. 42. When open war broke out, Ieyasu defeated rival clans in the Battle of Sekigahara in 1600. He was appointed shogun by Emperor Go-Yazdire in 1603 and established the Tokugawa shogunate at Edo, modern Tokyo. 43. The shogunate enacted measures including Bukeshahato, as a code of conduct to control the autonomous daimyo. 44, and in 1639 the isolationist Sakoku, closed country, policy that spanned the 2.5 centuries of tenuous political unity known as the Edo period, 1603-1868. 43, 45. Modern Japan's economic growth began in this period, resulting in road-sound water transportation routes, as well as financial instruments such as futures contracts, banking and insurance of the Osaka rice brokers. 46. The study of Western sciences, Rengaku, continued through contact with the Dutch enclave in Nagasaki. 43. The Edo period gave rise to Kokugaku, national studies, the study of Japan by the Japanese. 47. Modern era. Emperor Meiji, Meiji 10, 1852-1912. The Japanese Empire in 1942 and 1854. Commodore Matthew C. Perry and the Black Ships of the United States Navy forced the opening of Japan to the outside world with the Convention of Kanagawa. 43. Subsequent similar treaties with other Western countries brought economic and political crises. 43. The resignation of the shogun-led Toth-Boshin War and the establishment of a centralized state nominally unified under the emperor, the Meiji Restoration. 48. Adopting Western political, judicial, and military institutions, the cabinet organized the Privy Council, introduced the Meiji Constitution, the 29th of November, 1890, and assembled the Imperial Diet. 49. During the Meiji period, 1868-1912, the Empire of Japan emerged as the most developed nation in Asia and as an industrialized world power that pursued military conflict to expand its sphere of influence. 50, 51, 52. After victories in the First Sino-Japanese War, 1894-1895, and the Russo-Japanese War, 1904-1905, Japan gained control of Taiwan, Korea and the southern half of Sakhalin. 53, 49. The Japanese population doubled from 35 million in 1873 to 70 million by 1935, with a significant shift to urbanization. 54, 55. The early 20th century saw a period of Taich democracy, 1912-1926, overshadowed by increasing expansionism and militarization. 56-57, World War I allowed Japan, which joined the side of the victorious Allies, to capture German possessions in the Pacific and in China. 57, the 1920s saw a political shift towards statism, a period of lawlessness following the 1923 Great Tokyo earthquake, the passing of laws against political dissent, and a series of attempted coups. 55, 58, 59. This process accelerated during the 1930s, spawning a number of radical nationalist groups that shared a hostility to liberal democracy and a dedication to expansion in Asia. In 1931, Japan invaded and occupied Manchuria. Following international condemnation of occupation, it resigned from the League of Nations 2 years later. 60. In 1936, Japan signed the Anti-Comintern Pact with Nazi Germany. The 1940 Tripartite Pact made it one of the Axis powers. 55. Japan's imperial ambitions ended on September 2, 1945, with the country's surrender to the Allies. The Empire of Japan invaded other parts of China in 1937, precipitating the Second Sino-Japanese War, 1937-1945. 61. In 1940, the empire invaded French Indochina, after which the United States placed an oil embargo on Japan. 55, 62. On December 7-8, 1941, Japanese forces carried out surprise attacks on Pearl Harbor, as well as on British forces in Malaya, Singapore, and Hong Kong, among others, beginning World War II in the Pacific. 63. Throughout areas occupied by Japan during the war, numerous abuses were committed against local inhabitants, with many forced into sexual slavery. 64. After Allied victories. During the next 4 years, which culminated in the Soviet invasion of Manchuria and the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, Japan agreed to an unconditional surrender. 65. The war cost Japan its colonies and millions of lives. 55. The Allies, led by the United States, repatriated millions of Japanese settlers from their former colonies and military camps throughout Asia, largely eliminating the Japanese Empire and its influence over the territories it conquered. 66, 67. The Allies convened the International Military Tribunal for the Far East to prosecute Japanese leaders for war crimes. 67. In 1947, Japan adopted a new constitution emphasizing liberal democratic practices. 67. The Allied occupation ended with Treaty of San Francisco in 1952. 68. And Japan was granted membership in the United Nations in 1956. 67. A period of record growth propelled Japan to become the second largest economy in the world. Winking sad smiley. 67. This ended in the mid-1990s after the popping of an asset price bubble beginning the lost decade. 69. On the 11th of March, 2011, Japan suffered one of the largest earthquakes in its recorded history, triggering the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. 70. On the 1st of May, 2019, after the historic abdication of Emperor Akihito, his son Naruhito became emperor, beginning the Reiwa era. 71. Geography. Japan comprises 6,852 islands extending along the Pacific coast of Asia. It stretches over 3,000 kilometers, 1,900 mi, northeast-southwest from the Sea of Okhotsk to the East China Sea. 72, 73. The country's 5 main islands, from north to south, are Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu and Okinawa. 74. The Ryukyu Islands, which include Okinawa, are a chain to the south of Kyushu. The Nan Islands are south and east of the main islands of Japan. Together they are often known as Japanese Archipelago. 75. As of 2019, Japan's territory is 377,975.24 square kilometers, 145,937.06 square mi. 1. Japan has the sixth longest coastline in the world at 29,751 km, 18,486 mi. Because of its far-flung outlying islands, Japan has the eighth largest exclusive economic zone in the world, covering 4,470,000 km to 1,730,000 square mi. 3. 76. The Japanese archipelago is 67% forests and 14% agricultural. 77. The primarily rugged and mountainous terrain is restricted for habitation. 78. Thus the habitable zones, mainly in the coastal areas, have very high population densities. Japan is the 40th most densely populated country. 79. 80. Honshu has the highest population density at 450 persons /kilometer to 1,200 /square mi, as of 2010, while Hokkaido has the lowest density of 64.5 persons /kilometer to as of 2016. 81. As of 2014. The Japanese archipelago, approximately 0.5% of Japan's total area, is reclaimed land, Umite Tekai. 82. Lake Biwa is an ancient lake and the country's largest freshwater lake. 83. Japan is substantially prone to earthquakes, tsunami and volcanic eruptions because of its location along the Pacific Ring of Fire. 84. It has the 17th highest natural disaster risk as measured in the 2016 World Risk Index. 85. Japan has 111 active volcanoes. 86. Destructive earthquakes, often resulting in tsunami, occur several times each century. Winking sad smiley. 87. The 1923 Tokyo earthquake killed over 140,000 people. 88. More recent major quakes are the 1995 Great Hanshin earthquake and the 2011 Toku earthquake, which triggered a large tsunami. 70. Climate. Mount Fuji in spring. View from Arakirayama Senjin Park. The climate of Japan is predominantly temperate but varies greatly from north to south. The northernmost region, Hokkaido, has a humid continental climate with long, cold winters and very warm to cool summers. Precipitation is not heavy, but the islands usually develop deep snowbanks in the winter. 89. In the Sea of Japan region on Honshu's west coast, northwest winter winds bring heavy snowfall during winter. In Tsushima, the region sometimes experiences extremely hot temperatures because of the foam. 90. The Central Highland has a typical inland humid continental climate, with large temperature differences between summer and winter. The mountains of the Kogoku and Shikoku regions shelter the Seto Inland Sea from seasonal winds, bringing mild weather year-round. 89. The Pacific coast features a humid subtropical climate that experiences milder winters with occasional snowfall and hot humid summers because of the southeast seasonal wind. The Ryukyu and Nan Islands have a subtropical climate, with warm winters and hot summers. Precipitation is very heavy, especially during the rainy season. 89. The main rainy season begins in early May in Okinawa, and the rain front gradually moves north. In late summer and early autumn, typhoons often bring heavy rain. 91. According to the Environment Ministry, heavy rainfall and increasing temperatures have caused problems in the agricultural industry and elsewhere. 92. The highest temperature ever measured in Japan, 41.1 degrees Celsius, 106.0 degrees Fahrenheit, was recorded on the 23rd of July, 2018, 93, and repeated on the 17th of August, 2020. 94. Biodiversity. Japan has 9 forest ecoregions which